Good morning, welcome to Traveling Tuesdays. Today we're going to drive a beautiful 2019 Jeep Cherokee Overland 4x4. This vehicle was traded in with low miles. It has every option that you can put on a Jeep Cherokee on it, including the large roof, the four-wheel drive system, the adaptive cruise and lane departure system. It's just jam-packed, and it only has 9,800 miles. Check this one out when you get a chance. Today, we're going to be heading up to talk to the people from the Marsh Foundation about some of the programs they have going on. Join us. Good morning, everybody. We're back, Traveling Tuesdays here with Mike. Today we're visiting with the Marsh Foundation, staff of the Marsh Foundation and their fostering program, I think, primarily. We're in a downtown office on Main Street. Most of you think of the farm out on Lincoln Highway, but this is a downtown location for them. And so we're here today to just find out a few more things about what goes on. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then tell us just a little bit about your position.
My name is Melissa Snyder, and I am the foster care supervisor here at the Marsh Foundation. We work out of the Main Street office, and we oversee all of our foster homes that we have in the county and in surrounding counties, making sure that the kids are safe, happy, and well adjusted. And then if we have a kid come in that needs a home, we do our best to find the best possible match for that kiddo. Okay,
you mentioned surrounding counties.
Yes.
That triggered me. I wasn't aware that they went outside of any more counties. So
we travel in an hour radius.
Okay.
As of right now, we have homes in Defiance County, Auglaize County, and pretty much every county in between.
Wow! So you get quite a reach.
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
We hope to have that reach because it's better to place the kids as close as possible to their home county versus trying to relocate everything in their life back to Wert. We place kids from all over the state of Ohio, so we want to have a broad category of homes.
Awesome. So if I can ask, about how many kids do you have in the program now?
We currently have 43 kids in our foster homes.
Okay.
We serve a couple extras that bebop in and out for something that is known as respite services, where they'll just come in for a weekend or a week-long stay for a break for the biological families.
Cool. What goes on at the Marsh Foundation per se? I mean, what do they offer the kids that, say, a normal fostering situation would not offer? Is there any big pluses? I mean, do they get to take advantage of some of the aspects of the farm angle?
Yes, our foster families have access to everything that we have out at the main campus building. We have a horse program that starts up in the summer. They bring in horses actually from Findlay University, and we have a couple trainers out there. So they have some classes every day on a regular, and then they have open ride as well. So the families can bring the kids out and just get involved with the animals. We have a farmer's market that we have on the weekends located on our main campus. The kids on campus actually grow the foods back in the gardening program. There's a select few kids who have worked well enough through their program that they've earned those privileges to kind of have a job, and then the kids get to keep the money that they earn through the farmer's market. So it's kind of a perk for them too.
And that's on weekends?
It's on weekends, on Saturdays.
Okay, when does that start? Or has it already?
They've already started planting the gardens, but it doesn't really start, I don't think, until the end of June.
Gotcha. So are there hours established for that yet, or?
I do not know. I want to say it's Saturday mornings, but I'm not clear on the hours.
Okay. That'd be a nice thing to keep in mind and support the kids and get some good fresh produce at the same time.
Absolutely, and they really appreciate it. And we try to give them several opportunities to earn money, to kind of put in their savings, because when they leave, they need to have something to stand on. Yes, they get help from community members, they get help from their foster families, they get help from their counties, but anything extra that they can earn, and then it adds to their self-worth as well.
I was going to say, it just gives them a little bit of I have to ask. I had a good friend at one time was a director out at Marsh, and I had a key to the pond. Is the pond still?
The pond is still available.
Okay.
The pond is something that we can rent out. We have the pond, we have the rec hall, we have all of those things, and actually staff, foster families, youth can rent it out, no cost. They just literally have to sign their name on the sheet, and they can use it for parties, get-togethers, or just a Saturday fishing.
Right.
So that is kind of a perk for them too. We have a lot of foster families that get to utilize that, especially if they live in town.
There's some awesome fishing in that pond.
Yes.
When I used to go, it was catch and release. I assume it's still
It's
maybe
still that,
maybe
yes.
not for the Marsh families, but for
Yes.
us outsiders, oh my gosh.
And
Yeah,
we're
there was some-
actually in the process, we have this huge expansion going on
I
campus,
read
as some
about
of you
that.
have probably seen. But back at the pond, we're adding a sand volleyball pit, some extra docks, and we're working on getting it capable to be able to swim in.
Oh,
So there's
Great,
some other fun
great.
stuff going on back there.
there
as
goes the
well.
fishing. Yeah. So and then I'm really intrigued by the farm market because I don't think we have enough of those in the area for as much agriculture as there is in the area. It seems like you got to go out of Van Wert a ways to get some of that stuff. Anything else for the kids? I mean, do they do chores around the houses?
They all have daily constants where they are expected to kind of help maintain the houses. They learn some basic skills. The school really gets them involved a lot as well. We just had, it was on Earth Day actually, they all went out and started helping doing some of the landscaping. They really got a kick out of it, and they felt really accomplished when the day was over. They helped pull weeds, they helped plant flowers, and those kind of things around campus.
Sure. A lot of dirty work while you're doing it, but when you're done, you can actually see something that you
Absolutely.
finished with your hands. That's really interesting. So is there anything, I'm going to ask, put you on the spot a little bit here, I promised I wouldn't, but, you know, car salesman. What brought your heart to this position?
I actually started with the Marsh Foundation just out of college years and years ago in the girls group home, which is Clymer Hall, and there's 10 teenage girls in there that kind of have some behavioral needs. That's really when I started diving into really growing an affection for these kids and wanting to help them. Through that, I found my way into foster care. I was with a larger foster care agency, and my passion really grew and developed seeing these kids go from a hazardous environment to a stable environment and watching them thrive. And then working my way back to Van Wert, just being born and raised here, going back to Marsh Foundation, going back to home is where I've really found my spot in regards to continuing to work with my kids and helping my hometown community.
Awesome. Almost, for lack of a better term, it's a ministry.
It truly is. You have to have a heart to help these kids, and you have to be truly invested in order to do them good, because it is a selfless act. These kids are not going to say thank you at the end of the day any more than your biological kids say thank you at the end of the day.
Raised too, been there.
Absolutely. So to put yourself in this, they're not always easy to parent, but then to see them turn that corner, come up and give you a hug and see the love in their eyes that they've maybe not known before, it's truly, truly rewarding.
Yeah, some of my assistant pastor at our church works with Kid Jay Watts. And some of the kids as I was a youth leader for 32 years, and that was deep enough, but I mean, to be day in, day out, 24/7, and then the end results, you know, you may not see the true results for 5-10 years until those kids come back with their family and introduce them to, you know.
I always say, think back to your personal life, and when were you truly thankful for your parents? Not when you were 15 and they were saying you couldn't go out for the weekend. It's when you're in your early 30s and you're like, oh, I get it. I get what we were going through. That's the hope with the foster kids. Is your hope is that when they're 30 and they come back with their families and they say, thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for investing. Thank you for fighting with me. Thank you for seeing the person that I didn't know I could be. And that's always the hope.
Good deal, good deal. Anything else you would like to share as we wrap up here?
Just a little bit more about the foster care process.
Absolutely.
It's intimidating to a lot of people. You invite a stranger into your home to essentially judge you and how you parent and how you live. My goal is to take that intimidation factor away. It's really not as scary as it sounds on paper. The process takes about 3 to 6 months to get completed. You have a person like myself come into your home for a minimum of 3 visits to sit down with you, talk to you, get to know you, get to know how you were raised, how you raise your kids, and how you expect to kind of raise the foster kids. Throughout those 3 to 6 months, we're also providing you with training. You have to have a minimum of 36 hours of training. Again, that sounds intimidating. It actually goes by very, very quick. In a matter of a couple Saturdays, or me coming out to your house if you have a little bit more of a hectic schedule, which I think we all kind of do, come out to your house and working with your schedule to fit those trainings in the evening. But we do trainings on behavior management, how to help with biological families, supervised visitations, and kind of how those all go, all the way down to the lingo and what words we're throwing around on a regular basis so that maybe you're not in the dark if we're sitting in your home talking to you. We really try to educate you on all of the could be's and what ifs. So then that way we can get you through the process. Also, once you are licensed and you do have a kid in your home, you have a consultant that comes in. That consultant is available for you 24/7. So it's as simple as, oh my goodness, Johnny's having a meltdown, what do I do? All the way down to, is it okay if he is 12 months old and he eats this? We're there to support you through the silly and the serious, 24/7.
When our oldest was born, I think poison control and Dayton was on our hotline. So we, oh my gosh.
There's a lot of unknowns.
The second one came along, and
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and then we do have the adoption certification. Our homes, our goal when the kids come into care is reunification. We always hope that the biological families get the help that they need and they get through whatever ailments they have, and get their kids back. That's always the goal. But that doesn't always happen. Some parents, they really just are not able to check the boxes that they need to check. They're not able to stay sober, which is kind of a big problem that we're seeing right now. When that does happen, our hope is that the foster family would be willing to adopt whatever child they have placed in their home. Because the least moves for this child, the least amount of trauma that child has.
Sure.
So should Johnny not be able to go home with his biological family, our hope is that the foster family would be able to adopt, and everything is taken care of on that initial licensing, the 3 to 6 months. At that point in time, it's just the finalization of the paperwork. So it kind of,
and I would think if you have, what's the average time that a foster child spends in the program or any home?
Kids can stay in care anywhere from 2 years, maximum of 2 years. They can stay anywhere from a month, a week, to those 2 years, and it all really depends. In that first month, it's kind of in limbo a little bit because they're searching for family members that can take them, aunts, uncles, cousins, those kind of things, because we want to have them with their biological family if at all possible. Once that month kind of goes by, it goes into a 6-month kind of rotation. So they'll do court reviews every 6 months.
Gotcha.
So if parents are doing well at 6 months, they could go home. If parents are doing okay, they'll probably do an extension and review it again at the year. And they do that every 6 months until the 2-year mark, where it's adoption or it's go home.
Gotcha. So success can be measured in a number of ways.
Yes.
Absolute success is back to their family.
Absolutely.
Their biological family.
But there's more to that. It's back to their biological family, but it's back to their biological family with the supports of the previous foster family.
Right.
Our hope is that the biological family now sees the foster family as like a mentor, kind of, as a person to turn to, because a lot of these biological families, they don't know who to turn to. They don't have good examples in their home to say, hey, how do I do this? I mean, how many times have I called my mom, parenting my own kids, say, is this normal? They don't necessarily have that person to reflect on. So our hope is that throughout the process of foster care, throughout supervised visitations, they get to know the foster family, and the foster family is now that person that they can call and say, is this normal? What should I do?
So they're allies.
They can get some solid advice on how to parent these kids. That's best case success story.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you shedding some light on the whole
Absolutely.
Marsh Foundation, that side that some of us don't get to see.
Correct.
Unless we have a direct involvement or something. And so many things going on out there, you guys. Just make sure that if you have someone in your family with a need or know of somebody, get in touch with Melissa here, and maybe she can start a process. Or if you're interested in, I'm sure the need is always there for foster family.
The need is always there for foster families. Our foster families are kind of maxed out. But the more foster families we have, the more that we can search to when we have a certain child come in, the better option that we can find for them. Because each family has their own personality, each family has their own way of doing something. So we want to do our best to find the best match for these kids.
Right.
We have kids that come into care 0 to 18. We have 3 days old all the way up to almost aging out of the system. So some families want the 3-day-old infants, where some are like, I've done that. I'll take the 17-year-olds and get them ready for adulthood. We need families that are able to help across the spectrum.
Great. Well, thanks for talking to us today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We're going to do our part to help you get the word out.
Awesome.
And check it out. If it's something you've even just been thinking about, or it's near and dear heart on your heart, get in touch with them and let them at least lay out the guidelines and how things work, and maybe you'll decide it's something for you and your family, and maybe you'll decide it isn't, but at least you've taken a look. Thanks. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we would love to come out to your home and do an in-home orientation. No obligations. Take some of the stress and maybe the scariness away from it. We'll come out, we'll meet with you, we'll answer your questions, and we'll handhold you through this process.
And I will testify that in the 10-15 minutes I spent with Melissa, she is not a scary lady.
I'm not.
She wants to help these kids. She wants to help the families that are going to take them on. So please give them a shot. Thank you.
Thank you.